welcome to another broadcast of In the Locker Room. Now here's your host, Kenny Smith.
Welcome to In the Locker Room Sports Talk, to where we talk about sports in the ATL and so much more. Thank you for making this show a part of your day. I really do appreciate it, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. We're in the great city of Flowery Branch, Georgia, home of the Atlanta Falcons practice facility. I can't tell you just how much, again, I love and enjoy living in Flowery Branch. To just drive by the facility, I just admire it. I'm like, just think, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones are probably or have probably been in that building at some point. But speaking of the Atlanta Falcons, we're going to do something a little Falcon related today. But that's going to be here in a little bit. So stay tuned. I'm so excited, and I hope that you will be too. But in the meantime, before we get to that, I want to just ask you, if you would, if you can like, share, and subscribe to this podcast, to whatever platform you may be watching or listening. And just follow me on social media, because there's a lot of great content and a lot of great conversation on there. I mean, just this week on Facebook, there were several different conversations that I just enjoyed being a part of. I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. So anyway, let's get started. We're going to hit a couple things before we go to the Falcons. There is a hot topic in the NBA, of course, with the COVID-19, and everybody trying to be safe and protect themselves. They have released this new smart ring. Apparently, it's not new, but I think it's new to the NBA. I'm going to just read you a little excerpt from The Athletic, and it gives you some little background on it. Players will have the option of wearing the smart ring, which tracks body temperature, your respiratory system, and heart rate, according to Shams Charania, a senior lead NBA insider, writer, and analyst for The Athletic and Stadium. While some argue that nurses and essential workers should have priority access to new tools which may detect COVID-19 early, there's little research on whether smart rings can help diagnose individuals. The FDA has not yet approved any wearables for diagnosing the coronavirus. Okay, it's interesting. And before you just get all in a tizzy or just get all worked up, and regardless of what your view is on the coronavirus, I thought this was kind of interesting. I did a little research on it, and it says for now it's only going to be used on a trial basis. It's still being researched, just like it said in the article. The possibility is there. I'm sure they're trying to do whatever they think is best for the league, especially while they're coming back and playing. So, I can't say that they're doing anything wrong. And they're just trying to find something, because I know some players are still very concerned about contracting the virus. But again, regardless of your view, at least they're trying to do what's best for the league. Don't get too excited again. Don't get frustrated yet. We're not even sure if it's going to work yet. But again, it seems like a cool little concept. So, I don't know. I might get one, because I heard it, it tracks your sleep and among some other things. I'm like, it's kind of like having an Apple Watch, except you're wearing it. I don't know. Something a little smaller in the NBA, superstar Kevin Durant buys a stake in the MLS Philadelphia Union, a whopping 5%, and is given an option to purchase an additional 5% in the future. Well, good for him. But, Durant, I have some advice for you. If you want to make an even better investment, maybe you should make an investment with a team that's good right now. Team that has a brand new stadium, team that has a superstar in Joseph Martinez, a team that has a great fan base. I've never been to an Atlanta United match before, but I hope sometime that I get a chance to go because I've heard it is crazy. But yes, as I said, it's the Atlanta United. Just saying, man. I mean, if you want to make a good investment or a better investment, dude, you should have looked down to Atlanta, down in the ATL, where it's smoking hot down here, man. But on the flip side, good for him. It's a nice investment. So let's get to a little Falcons talk. I love the Falcons. I loved watching them play. I watch them every Sunday, every time they come on. Heck, sometimes I even listen to them on the radio. And there's nothing like diving into the weekend with a little Falcons talk with my friends. Yes, I consider you guys my friends. Yeah, so let's talk. As some of you know, this year could be the last year for Dan Quinn, head coach, and the general manager. And so I think the Falcons need to make some improvements. But I think it starts with 3 players. I don't want to see Dimitrov leave, and I don't want to see Dan Quinn leave because I love what they've made the Falcon culture to be. In brotherhood. Rise up, continue that. But this brotherhood that they've got, I'm telling you, it's nothing like the Falcons have ever had before. And then Dimitrov coming from the Patriots. Smart guy, knows what he's doing. I really hope the Falcons can make a huge improvement this year because I don't want to see those guys leave. But I think it starts with 3 players. And I'm going to give you those 3 players, and then I'm going to give you the reason why, or the reasons why. So my number 1 reason or player is a healthy Keanu Neal. Star safety when he's healthy. This guy has to stay healthy. He is the communicator of the secondary. He knows how to get the defensive backs to communicate with each other. And here's an article by Jason Butt, who actually covers the Falcons for The Athletic. Just a little excerpt. It says, the Falcons hired longtime NFL secondary coach Joe Witt Jr. to take over the secondary. He said when watching tape, he noticed the communication errors that plagued the group in the early going. I think not having this guy in the lineup, he was huge. Because when he's not in the ball game, the Falcons secondary is terrible. To be completely honest, I think the Falcons secondary without him in the lineup is trash. Number 2, the quarterback and the vocal leader of the defense, Deion Jones. This is a Dan Quinn typical player that can run side to side, sideline to sideline, can hit, can run, can make all the plays. And just here in a little bit, I'll tell you some of the stats that he had in the past 3 or 4 years. This guy has to stay healthy too. Number 3, and this is a guy that I believe is coming on strong, Mr. Grady Jarrett, a Clemson Tiger product, just right down the road. He has to lead that defensive line, which will probably include tack, newly acquired Dante Fowler Jr., and draft pick Marlon Davidson, which I think he's probably going to start. If not, he probably will very soon. So, yes, having those players individually are great. But in my opinion, I think that you have to have all 3 of those players to be successful. And here's why. 2016 was the Super Bowl year. That was a great year for the Falcons. Historic offense, number 1 in the NFL. Kyle Shanahan as the offensive coordinator. The offense wasn't the problem. Defense wasn't bad either. They had 2 rookies, Keanu Neal and Deion Jones. And I think a second-year player, Grady Jarrett. I think it's second year. But the defense was okay, but they were extremely young. So they were just learning on the job. So, I had to give them a little bit of grace for that year. But they were 27th in points per game given up. 28th in passing yards per game. 17th in rushing yards given up per game. 26th in third down efficiency. And that's out of 32 teams. So I think that they were a decent defense that year, but they were still very young and they were still learning. Nobody expected in their right mind that the Falcons were going to do what they were going to do in that year. I honestly think that, yes, I think the old adage still lives that you have to have a good defense to win championships. Yes, because you have to be able to stop the other team from scoring. I mean, yes, they had a great offense, but you still have to be able to make stops. You still have to be able to make some plays. 2017, 10-6. They still had a good season. They made the wild card. They won that. Then they lost to Philadelphia. But that year, Keanu Neal and Deion Jones both had Pro Bowl years. Second year together, healthy. Keanu Neal had 116 tackles. Deion Jones had 138 tackles and 10 tackles for loss. But you remember the third player that we were talking about, Mr. Grady Jarrett, 4 sacks. 55 tackles. 15 tackles for loss. He's improving. All 3 of them made a great defense. And here's why. They were 8th in points per game given up. 7th in passing yards allowed. 11th in rushing yards allowed. 17th in third down efficiency. So the defense wasn't the problem that year. I think it was because Kyle Shanahan left and the Falcons just didn't know just how to recover. I mean, the defense was unbelievable in the playoffs. I mean, I don't think they allowed 20 points. And also, among those 3 players, a few others kind of pitched in, which was good. I mean, because you need a supporting cast. But again, those three players were healthy. The defense played great. Now is where things kind of went downhill, as Falcon fans would know. 2018 and 19, the Falcons both went 7-9. But I think I have some reasons why. Keanu Neal and Deion Jones, after they both made the Pro Bowl, went on injured reserve. They both got hurt. Having your two studs get hurt was terrible. I thought it was the end of the year. It felt like it when they lost 5 or 6 games in a row that year. And plus, you're not having Devontae Freeman. He played 2 weeks that week. And not you're really having a running game. Matt Ryan had to throw for his life. But on the flip side, Grady Jarrett had 6 sacks. Again, he's making progress. Takk McKinley, newly drafted Takk McKinley, had 7 sacks. And DeMonte KZ, probably the unsung hero of the year, played for Neal, had 7 picks. So I don't, the defense wasn't bad, because yes, they started out terrible and they were 25th in points per game given up. So, but not having Devontae Freeman was huge. Not having a running game, it put a lot of pressure on the defense, and they just couldn't step up. 2019, last year, again, they gave up about the same amount of points per game, 23rd, giving up points. Deion Jones had a great year, but Keanu Neal, again, he got hurt. He was out. He was out since week 4. Deion Jones had a great year, 110 tackles. You had Foye Oluokun, had a pretty decent year. A guy that you would have never have thought that would have made an impact. Grady Jarrett, again, stepping up. Again, made the Pro Bowl. Get this. For a defensive tackle, this dude had 7.5 sacks, 69 tackles, 12 tackles for loss. And then we have the supporting cast from Vic Beasley, who now is no longer an Atlanta Falcon. And I was glad to kind of see him go because he didn't really do anything. He had 1 good year, maybe 2. But again, you didn't have those 3 guys playing together. I think it's great that you had one of those players, 2 of those players at one time. But I think it's proven that, kind of a smallish sample, but I think it's legit. 2016, they went to the Super Bowl. All 3 guys were playing well. Young, but they're playing well. 2017, all 3 guys played well. All 3 of them. The main guys at their particular position made an impact. But I think this year, all 3 have to stay healthy in order for the Falcons to have a great year defensively. I don't think the offense is the problem. I don't. I mean, you got Todd Gurley, who I think is going to make a huge difference. So I don't think the offense is the problem. I think it's going to have to start with the defense. I think that they could replicate the 2017 defense, which was really good, even though they didn't make it to they didn't make it to the Super Bowl. But that defense was really good. And I think with the offense that we have, it's possible that we can make a little bit of a run. Depending on what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers decide to do with newly found quarterback Tom Brady. I'm still waiting to see how that's going to turn out. Anyway, so I think that you have to have all three. But I want you guys to let me know what you think. If you're a Falcon fan or if you are an NFL fan, I want you to tell me just what you think. Which players for the Falcons have to step up in order for them to have a good year this year? Unless you're just not a Dan Quinn or Thomas Dimitroff guy. But I think that those three players have to stay healthy. So, the segment that we've been having the past few days is called Back in the Day. Just kind of a look back, just kind of an on this day in so-and-so year. So today I've got a couple for you. On this day in 1982, Pete Rose is the 5th player to appear in 3,000 games. The only 4 at the time that did it: Ty Cobb, Stan Musial, Hank Aaron, and Carl Yastrzemski. I probably mispronounced that name. Or probably better known as Yaz. Regardless of what you think of Pete Rose, I still think he was a great player. And to appear in 3,000 games, I think says a lot about him. But moving on. 2013, the LeBron James-led Miami Heat beat the San Antonio Spurs 4-3. And now LeBron James had won the MVP for the 2nd straight year. So there are your little bits for back in the day. So I just want to thank you again for spending time with me. Please like, share, and subscribe on any platform that you're part of. So see you next time.